Hi there, it's Cindy. If you've completed the SAP this far, congrats, because today we're going to be talking about return to duty tests and follow-up testing plans, because that seems to jam up a lot of drivers sometimes. So I don't want that to happen to you, so I figured I'd hop on here and make a quick video to explain it. So let's get into the return to duty test. Once you've met with your SAP for the follow-up, what happens is they'll enter step 4 into the clearinghouse, which will move your clearinghouse to step 5, which means you're return to duty testing eligible. So your return to duty test, or they also call it an RTD, you'll be sent for that test by your employer or a third-party administrator like a consortium. That's typically how owner-operators have their drug testing managed, but DOT kind of lifted the restrictions in the fact that now all SAP clients can go to a drug testing consortium or a new employer. If you have an employer, you do need to do the RTD through your employer. So I'm sure you're asking, what is a consortium? What's a third-party administrator? They're a private company that can do the RTD for you, and when the negative result comes back, they can enter it into the clearinghouse and check off step 5. That is only used by drivers that don't have employers or owner-operators. Now, once you pass the RTD test, your status in the clearinghouse will update, right? But it's still just step 5's checked off. But you have to make sure, as of November 2024, you have to go down to your local motor vehicle in your state and pay a reinstatement fee. So I know for Florida it's $75 and South Carolina it's $50. So it varies by state. But you must do this step because they'll check the clearinghouse and then they'll reinstate your CDL, and then you can drive during the follow-up testing plan. Now, before we jump into the follow-up testing plan, if this has been helping you, please give it a thumbs up or click subscribe, because I will make videos each week to explain some of the process to keep you in compliance and on the road. And I thank you if you do subscribe and give it a like. Thank you so much. Now, let's talk about follow-up testing, because this is where a lot of drivers get confused. When you meet for the SAP with the SAP for the follow-up, they're going to create a follow-up testing plan. DOT mandates that the SAP has to create the plan from a minimum of a year to 5 years with a minimum of 6 follow-up tests up to whatever they want to make it, like the SAP wants to create. So just remember, it will be a minimum of a year. I've seen some videos on some of the social media platforms, and I've had questions myself. Can you change it? Can you shorten it? No, DOT's rules are specific. Follow-up testing plan has to be a minimum of a year to 5 years. These tests are separate from the randoms you do. So you'll do randoms, and then you'll go do follow-ups. And the difference with follow-ups is they're observed screens. Another key point regarding the follow-up testing plan, your SAP and employer cannot disclose the amount of tests on that plan or the duration. That's per DOT. All right, here's some common mistakes I see as a SAP. You've already done the hard part, you got through the SAP, but please don't let these mistakes mess you up. Like thinking the SAP process is done after the follow-up. It's not. You got the return to duty and the follow-up testing plan to do. You can't do it on your own. It has to be facilitated by an employer or a consortium if you're an owner-operator. Not checking your email or clearinghouse regularly. Like, it's important that you monitor your clearinghouse, especially with the follow-up testing plan, because you won't know how long that testing plan is. So I encourage drivers to check it at least once a year. It's very easy to log into, and if you need to know how to log in, the directions are over on my link tree under free resources. And the third most important thing, really, do not miss your follow-up tests or randoms, because if you miss a test that you've been notified of, they're going to enter it into it as a refusal. And that will be another violation on your clearinghouse record, and you will have to go back through the SAP. So please be mindful with that. So here's the bottom line. You pretty much completed the SAP process. Now you're just in the ends thing. So just hang in there, get your follow-ups done. Once the follow-ups are completed, your employer will go into the clearinghouse and check off step 6. And then it does stay on your record for 5 years, but at least it's not an active violation. It's been taken care of and it's through step 6. So it looks better to employers. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because I'm going to make videos weekly explaining this process to keep you in compliance and on the road. And I hope you have a wonderful, safe day.